Hello, hello. Mute. Hello. Yep. All right. Oh, hold on. Time out. So I think the Airbnb is possible. It is going to take a little bit more, like you said, adjusting or looking, right? You're going to have to almost start looking now.
I mean, it's so far away. Nothing would happen for.
No, I'm just talking about for the sake of
8, 9
emailing
months.
places,
Yeah.
like just saying, hey.
Yeah, if you want to, definitely can.
And then that way you at least have it on the radar.
Nothing would happen until next year, though, is the problem.
No, I know. But just to have, to bookmark that Airbnb, right? And be like, okay, we have this, at least these 5, say, whatever. I'm trying to look for a liner. What's a good liner? I feel like I'm picking and it's always like the same.
Do mango in honor of chillin' dude.
All right. We'll do it.
I don't think we have anybody else from FGC. I was trying to think.
We got H-Box, who's with...
Oh, yeah. Do him.
Same org.
Because we've done mango a decent amount.
Right. All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm not. I'm all out of sorts. Hello. Yep. Hello and welcome to episode 387 of the Center Ring Esports podcast presented by Philly Esports. And this is going to be the best episode ever because we have a quick turnaround time from our last one. So not a whole lot has happened. So we will talk, of course, Yikes of the Week. We still have that given this small amount of time. Good Dude of the Week, as well as Summer Game Fest, recapping some of latest Microsoft's announcements, and a little impromptu CSGO map tier list. Everyone loves tier lists, so why not? But before we get to that, let me tell you about Philly Esports. They are good friends and good dudes. Go from, you guessed it, Philly. They do online and local events, so go to phillyesports.gg, maybe. Yes, GG. phillyesports.gg and see what their latest events are. You can sign up. They're always free for real cash prize money. Easy peasy. No complaints. Do it right now.
Hi, I'm Hungrybox, and you're listening to TCR.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. Welcome back to the Center Ring Esports podcast, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Philly Esports. And this is going to be the best episode ever. This is episode 387, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date is June 13th, 2022. The time is 9:09 p.m. Central Time. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. The link is in the description of said Twitter account. Be a part of the conversation, play games, all that fun stuff. And, yeah. My name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports. And alongside me, as always, is my best friend, my brown friend, the birthday boy himself. It's Anuj. What's up?
Feel a little wiser. Saw a couple more grays come in.
What can you tell me now at this old, wise age? Of what, 27? You're 27, right?
Right around there, And then if you take the light advantage that I have, another 10 levels added to that possibly. But yeah, dude, it's getting up there, man. I came in with some, I tried to I came up with a topic for us for a change, which is nice. I was like, let's do a CSGO map tier list.
That's right.
And that stemmed from one that I saw online that irritated me, so I thought we should do one of our own.
Well, I can't wait. Yeah, save it, because I want to know what irritated you about the other one, because I know if it's you asking for the topic, it must have been pretty hot and heavy. So
Just annoyed by his list, but we'll get into it.
Oh, I'm always down for tier lists. You know this, so never have to ask. Well, your birthday was yesterday. My birthday is next week. 1 week from today, in fact. So June is the months of celebration. So I'm gonna. So my wife asked me. She goes, "So are you gonna do a show next Monday on your birthday?" And like my instant answer was, "Well, yes, because we put the listener first in every aspect of our life." And also, like, it's like, yeah, I guess I didn't think about it. Like why?
What are we doing?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's
Dude, I had the most chill, like low key birthday of my life. We
Really?
went swimming in the morning, had lunch at the in-laws' house, came home, napped for a little bit, went out and took Hudson for ice cream, came back to the house, we watched a movie together, and that was like the night. Like I did a little bit of gaming in between when she's like, "You can go do whatever you want if we're not doing anything." She asked me 100 times, like, wife asked me 100 times, like, "Do you want to go somewhere? Do you want to do something?" I was like, "I'm good,"
so
you know?
I actually enjoy doing things for my birthday, despite, whatever. I like being the center of attention once in a while. However, and this has taken a while for me to cope with, and you probably know this about me. My birthday has been hijacked now by multiple things. 1, your kid. 2, my niece. Both born not on the same day, but their respective birthday weekends is always going to be the same weekend as my birthday.
Yeah.
This weekend is also Comic-Con over here in Dallas. I was going to go to that. Can't do that because of birthday parties. That was going to be like my birthday gift to myself, was to go to Comic-Con. Can't do that. Also, Father's Day is this weekend. And I make it very clear because some years it will fall on the same day as my birthday. And I, like last year, did that. And I made it very clear from the get-go. You are not double dipping to my wife. I was like, these are two different celebrations.
Like we need to celebrate them equally.
Right. Like you get 2 days.
Did you
I
ask
get
for
2
anything?
days.
I didn't know what to even ask for, honestly.
You know
I was
what?
like, let me just buy something guilt-free when I want to do
That's
it.
what this is, right? Boys and girls, when you get to the age that Anuj and I are in, you don't really ask for anything. Like, and we don't make enough money to do like the surprise presents, or at least me and my wife don't. Like, we can't just surprise someone. Like, I can't be like, "Hey, babe, we're going to Paris," because it's like
not happening.
Like that needs to be cleared long beforehand.
Yeah.
There's
a planning process.
Yes,
that
we
goes
both
into some of
have
this
jobs. We have kids. Like, we can't just do the impromptu surprise gift. So it's like, it's basically the gift is just giving me permission to buy something stupid.
Yeah, I was like, let me just buy something guilt-free. I kind of know something that I want, but I don't know if I want to buy it just yet.
Right. And that's kind of where everything's at. So, and like we just did DreamHack. So
bought myself a keyboard there.
Right.
So
but DreamHack is also like a very understandable thing because it always is right around our birthday. Like, that's not a birthday gift. Like, that is a separate thing that we do every year.
Yeah, but for me, that's a hard sell when it's the weekend before my birthday.
I know.
It's like I'm gone for 3 days, and then it's like, oh, you want to be pampered on your birthday
Right.
weekend? No, but in all honesty, like kind of the same thing as you mentioned. I got my son's birthday coming up, Father's Day coming up, my wife's birthday coming up, our anniversary coming up, so it's like we're going to do so much celebrating over the next few weeks that I'm okay with this weekend being like a low-key weekend and just
like, just give me time.
You take care of the kid more than normal. She already does it more than I do. So I can't say take care of him more than I do. Take care of him more than normal. And if I want to go game for an hour here and there, well, let me do it. That's
kind of what it is at this point in life. Is I've already bought everything that I need. So
yeah, anything I'm asking for is stupid shit that I don't actually need.
Right. So that's all it is. I just need to ask for forgiveness when that Amazon box comes in. You just need to not open it. Just let me take it in my office, and no questions asked. And then just ignore the new glowing thing.
That's fair enough. Yeah, whatever. Ignore the new RGB device in my office.
It's gonna make a lot of lights. I know that, but just ignore it. Just ignore it. So It's a month of celebrations for us when it comes to June, but also a celebration of esports because we have Yikes of the Week. You thought, oh, geez, they just did a show on Thursday. What could possibly have happened over the weekend? Not so fast, because there's always something. Not a lot this time, but something. Anuj, I saw this tweet, and I know you posted the Yikes of the Week, but I also saw it right when you did.
Yeah.
So,
which is usually the case for both of us on anything we post to each other.
This is
does it first.
Very true. Also, spoiler alert: 99% of this comes from Juked. So, but I don't think this one was because this is in poor taste, and Juked only posts good vibe stuff. So, you know, and that's fine. That's fine.
Juked. It would have been nice if they came around like 5 years ago.
Right.
Like the app.
Right. Yeah. It saved us a lot of time. So, the tweet was, "Hey guys, do you remember this?" And I honestly completely forgot this was ever a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember them releasing the Optic Gaming cryptocurrency?
I did, yeah. I mean, I remembered it. It's not like I tracked it.
Man, I do not remember.
But this is when everybody was. This was like around the phase scam time for their cryptocurrency thing. That every org was kind of releasing.
There's also a
NFT
very good chance that I have it muted. So,
yeah,
I typically mute all those words on my Twitter to just relieve me from that world. But I completely forgot Optic did their own cryptocurrency. Well, it looks like Optic also forgot that they had their own cryptocurrency because Anuj, like everything with Optic, a lot of promotion, promised exclusive merch, exclusive, I think, Discord perks and things like this. So far, the people of that who still own that coin have never seen any perks, and it's currently down 90%.
And the down 90% is obviously like a large number compared to like the market is down in general. Crypto has taken a beating.
Of course.
This is taken as bad of a beating as you can possibly take. And what I would really want to know from this, because this is the shitty part to me. I don't care that they released the currency. The yikes here is you haven't done what you promised to do. So you haven't fulfilled your side of the obligation, right? And then only your loyal list of fans bought this bullshit crypto that you put out there. And I want to know how quickly, once they launched it, how quickly did the members of Optic, ownership, whoever, sell, right? Because that's when it was at its all-time high. That's when they would have made the most money. That's essentially what the phase members did that got in trouble, right? They released a currency. The second it went public and it was at the highest number it was probably going to be at, they dumped all of theirs, and that was the issue. I would not be surprised if something similar here happened with most members at the very least. But I wouldn't be surprised if, whoever, Hex or whoever started the whole campaign also made buku money on it.
Yeah.
But it's sad because it's really only their loyalist and stupidest of fans that are buying it, right?
And
combination of both. You had to be a little stupid to think you were going to make money on this. Your hope was probably more so the perks associated with the currency is why you were doing it. And now neither. You've lost money and you're getting nothing. So I feel bad for them because ultimately that's the only people that it really hurts in this conversation.
Yeah, I need to see, like you said, the numbers on the Optic side. Because if Hex and Scump and all the people from Optic are still holding at a 90 loss, then you know what? I really don't care. Then it's like, hey.
Well, even if they sold it like a 50 loss, right? They saw the market crashing and they're like, fuck it, let's start getting out now. But I want to know how many sold within the first week of that releasing.
Right.
But that's
even then, I feel like if it's your own branded coin, like if I'm Hex and I bail ship at 50% loss without saying anything about it, like I would say that's a shitty move. Like,
well, they don't need to like say anything in the sense of like when you buy anything, stock, whatever.
Yeah, but this is different.
It's not on them to give you advice. It's just they're pimping it out.
That's what I'm saying.
As like, this next great thing, and you're just not again. Even if it was down 90%, but they were getting all these crazy, amazing perks and like benefits.
If Hex convinces
50% off merch type thing, okay, like there's something in it for them. But you've literally given nothing to them.
If Hex convinces me to go on the Optic Gaming cruise line, and it's going to be the next greatest cruise ship on the planet. And then midway through the Atlantic, I see him jumping on a lifeboat without saying anything. I'm going to be a little confused and upset about it. Like, it's like, hey, bud, like, you could have at least given us a heads up that the ship was sinking. That's kind of my attitude about this. And I know, like, people are like, well, it's stocks and it's different. You can't tell me it's just like stocks, but every time you want to bring it up, the difference of currency and a dollar bill is, oh no, the cryptos and no. It's either the same or different, and these crypto bros always like to argue one way or the other. This, like you said, it's not like they were marketing this to be the next Bitcoin. They were marketing it to be like, hey, pay your way into an exclusive fan club with Optic. That's kind of how it was. So, unlike the Cloud9 fan club, what is like Cloud9 Stratus, where it's like $500 a year. Not saying you get anything worth $500 a year. That would be like a really stupid purchase to convince my wife to buy for my birthday. But you do, I mean, I have seen what people have gotten, and it is cool stuff. I don't know if it's $500 worth, but it is cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a 1-year membership for $500, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a 1 year. You sign up every year. Now they might get discounts or something for returning customers. I have no idea, but it's just one of these crazy things. But
at least that is not selling you on the hope of like it's a currency going up in value,
right.
or different. Yeah, they are very different in my eyes. This was just, again, I just find the shittiest part here to be is you're not even doing what you were supposed to do, and you're like a professional organization.
You hyped it up when you got in at a penny. It went up, and then they probably dumped, and now it's just the fans left in there wondering what's going on. When's the party starting, guys? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And maybe all stocks go up, right? That's what the saying is.
They could contribute to the good dude of the week fund, and that would maybe help soften the blow a little bit.
This is true, because we have a good dude, and really it's good dudes of the week. So this was brought up, I mean, only like 48 hours ago. It really hasn't been that long. But Chillin, aka Chillin Dude, a very prominent member in the Smash, specifically Melee community. If you watched the Smash documentary, which we both loved, I think we gave it like a 9.8.
Only one we've seen so far that's been good.
What's the name though? I'm blanking on the name.
Oh my god.
It's the Smash documentary though. He was very prominent in that one, right? He was around when the Smash
Brothers.
The Smash Brothers. Oh, go figure. Okay. I guess we could have guessed on that one. But you are right. We kind of, for a little bit there, we were doing like really good at watching docuseries and like video game esports related TV shows, until we realize that they all kind of suck.
It's really the only reason we don't do it more, because it's obviously shit we're interested in, right? If you told me there was a good gaming show, like the only other good one we had was like the Jeff Goldblum episode. I thought was pretty decent. That he did about what is esports or something.
It was that DreamHack. I was 5 feet from him.
Yeah, like that was like pretty neat. But really, TV series, I'm never going to trust one until it's been aired. And it's been out for like 5 or 6 episodes.
Speaking
and it's getting rave reviews.
That new one is coming out on Paramount Plus, so no one will watch it, but it is coming out, I think, this week.
What is it?
That League of Legends one.
Oh, that one. Yeah. But again, if it's Paramount Plus, doesn't count.
I mean,
and unfortunately, we've seen what happened with Halo anyway.
If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there type of bit. But
yeah,
but so
great documentary.
Great documentary. Anyways, so go watch it. You'll see Chillin Dude at the time, very prominent in that. So, scary situation. Family, friends couldn't get a hold of him. They figured, oh, well, he's probably just out with buddies. Couple days go by. They call his buddy, say, hey, we haven't heard from him. Can you go check on him? He is unconscious, unresponsive, sitting on the floor. Now, I guess for a few weeks now, or a week, he was complaining about knee pain. And it turns out, and this is what gets me to be like a, what's it called when you constantly think something's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It gets me that way because it was an infection in his knee that was unattended, went up through his bloodstream into his heart. and causing him to have a stroke. Absolutely terrifying situation. Like,
I mean, so scary, and I'm assuming, I guess he's living alone. That's why,
yeah, like no
no one had
roommates or
heard from
someone could
him,
bump
but
into him, but
so terrifying. And
like this makes me, anytime I get a cut, like want to run to the ER. Like you hear about those people who bump their heads, go to sleep, and then never wake up.
Can I go on a timeout for 1 second? 30-second timeout.
Sure.
I got a cut on my left thumb playing baseball, sliding or some shit, whatever it was. I got a cut on my thumb. Put my hand back in the glove afterwards. Played the whole game, the rest of the game. Didn't think much of it. Went home, complained about a little bit of thumb pain, like, oh, my thumb is hurting a little bit, but I had a cut on it, so it was like, just put some
You're a
Neosporin on
warrior.
it, call it a day. Woke up in the middle of the night and I was having body pains. I turned on my light. I could see my veins were like highlighted. It looked like they were just red highlighters. I could follow my veins going through my arm into my chest area. And so we went straight to the ER, and I had like staph infection, and they had to cut open my thumb and drain it as much as they could, put me on antibiotics. But it's like no joke how quickly something like that unattended can, potentially be devastating. And in his case, it was, which is so sad.
So what you're saying is you're better than chilling, dude. Was that
I'm
what the point of that story was? Is
Yeah, it's showing that, like, I'm just a true survivor,
like
Tim.
like you are a warrior.
That's what I look. I am the definition of Greek god. Okay, 42% body fat, 5'9" old muscle. No, what it means is I was very fortunate that I happened to rush straight to the doctor when, I mean, shit, it looked bad. Who knows what he saw? It's just
Right.
like, these are such small things, and it's dude, your world can go upside down in a matter of minutes. You just don't even know, and so
this is where the good dude comes into play, because his brother started a GoFundMe campaign, which, don't get me started that we have to have GoFundMe campaigns to pay for medical treatments, but I digress. Within, how long ago was this posted? 3 days ago. And I don't even think that's like a full 3 days. I just think we're closer to the 3rd day mark. It is showing it is 227,000 out of the 250 goal. I don't think that's correct. I think we've already hit the 250,000 goal, and it's just not updating properly. So, because we have had massive turnout from the Smash community, from esports and gaming in general. These top donators, you have Ninja, like the Ninja, $25,000 donation.
boss move, dude. That is
Insane.
awesome.
25,000. And it's like, you got to remember, Ninja wanted to host a Melee tournament. Remember?
Yeah.
He like, and that's the thing about Smash that I think is awesome, is you think it's like this tight-knit kind of off-kilter esports community, but it's really not. Like, they've been around for so long that everyone kind of knows them and loves them in their own special way, and it's just kind of through Nintendo is why it's not as popular. But so Ninja, obviously a Smash fan, wanted to host a Smash tournament, was never contacted back from Nintendo. 25,000. Ludwig, which I'll be real with you. I know who he is, but I don't know who he is. Like, the name, I recognize the name. $10,000 donation. Team Liquid, $6,000 donation. And that's on top of Victor Goosen? Goosen, is that how I say it? He's the co-founder of Liquid. So just from the Liquid family in general, you're looking at roughly 12,000. Like, it is unreal.
I mean, it's just amazing to see the community step up, and more donations are going to come in the following days, and it's amazing what this community, and the Smash community in particular, right? Like, it's a group of such dedicated individuals to their craft, and he helped build that foundation there, right? And it's nice to see the community supporting him when he really needs it most, right? And so, obviously what Ninja did is like above and beyond. Even Ludwig at like 10,000, those are obviously the standouts, but it's all the other donations in between that add up to get you to the number that they need to get to. And look, it just shows that the dude is done right by people, people in his life, people that, either idolized him or have gotten to know him. It just shows that, he's worth every penny he's getting. And that's pretty clear. And it's great to see positives, stories like this come about. This is obviously a negative story as a whole, but like the positive aspect that's shining through. You just see so much negative stuff in esports and gaming and all that. So when a story like this comes, it needs to be recognized, and obviously not just recognized. We want to get it out there. You can still go and donate. $5, $10, whatever it may be. You're still able to do that. We'll also share the GoFundMe on our Twitter page if we haven't done so already. We'll share that if you want to chip in. But awesome to see that. I mean, maybe you might even see hopefully a Nintendo donation come through.
Man,
Nintendo America.
I've been looking for that, and I'm not saying that it's not there. I'm just saying I haven't seen it.
And look, they don't have to do. We're not saying somebody, but I mean, you would think
you don't want to shame someone into donating, but you would just like to see, given everyone else doing it,
it's got a lot of traction, and that's great because what Ninja and these guys are doing are helping spread eyes to it, right? Ninja donates 25,000. It makes Dexerto's front page, and all these other outlets will start reporting it, and more people see it, more eyes see it, and it's great. It's helping him and his family out a lot, I'm sure. And I think even just seeing all the support is probably just as motivating to them outside of
they're saying his recovery is also on a good pace too. So I mean, it's always good to have feel good stories out of something that could have gone, completely sideways. So
yeah, let's just hope for a full recovery. And man, that's just scary stuff.
Yep, it sure is. This is why I just sit on my chair all day, not doing anything. Can't get hurt when you're just sitting down. Anuj.
I'm sure that's what he was probably doing most of the time. He's
I can't.
Gamer.
Right, I can't imagine he does a whole lot. But either way, man. Either way, it's terrifying. Terrifying that just you
makes
think.
Me want to go watch that documentary again. Is what it does right now.
So we did have the Summer Game Fest, and like sprinkled in, not at the Summer Game Fest like we do now in gaming. Everything's got to be segregated. So Microsoft and Bethesda had their own thing. Sony's thing, I think, is coming up here in a couple of weeks. It's absolute. Look,
I hate it so much.
I feel like we're going backwards here. Okay, we had it to where it was all under one roof, one time a year. Everyone got together. You announced all your shit, and we went home and we talked about it all year until the games came out. When that was known as E3. Now we got E3. We got Summer's Game Fest. Now we have Microsoft and Bethesda does a showcase, but
everybody does their own showcase now.
But like the weird thing is, it's like Nintendo does like 5 different showcases throughout the year. I think Sony does like 2 or 3 PlayStation showcases throughout the year, and it's just like, guys, what are we doing? Like, can we not just?
It's like the funny thing is, it's like they almost didn't want to go to E3 because they didn't like being pinned up against their competitors, right? Like, because then people judge who had the better showcase. That's like almost the first thing out of everyone's mouth, right? Is who had the better showcase.
Who won E3?
Well, now the thing is, we get to do that throughout the whole year. Who has the better lineup? Because now they're just releasing it at different times, and now it comes up like multiple times throughout the year instead of just that one big showcase. So I almost think it's like a negative by doing what they're doing.
I knew when E3 was. I have no idea, like half of these showcases are even going on until they're over.
No, and then think about it. You do a showcase that's like not that great, and you are the only show in this showcase. Isn't that even worse? Like, wouldn't you rather be with like 10 other things where people can discuss the good from those rather than focusing on just the bad from yours? So it's annoying, but you know what? At least we're getting a constant news cycle throughout the year. So for us, it's maybe kind of nice, just like every couple months, it's like, oh, look, there's like something new to talk about. But as a fan, I miss the one big event with everything. Like the way that
these developers are doing it now, it's like E3 or whichever one, right? You'll have like say E3 will be your big reveal, but there will be nothing there to show you other than a reveal. And then Summer Game, you might see some gameplay or more stuff or like a title reveal. So it's like they do all these things, but it's really all the same games. They're just giving you a little bit more, as opposed to it used to be like E3, boom, here's Street Fighter 6, and boom, here's gameplay, and like we're ready to roll. So
If you're doing your own show, I think you should be banned from showing cinematic trailers only.
yeah,
I don't want to see a
1000%.
cinematic trailer. It's the most useless form of advertising to me is to show me a cinematic trailer because I could care less.
Yeah, 1000%. And that's what we did with Stormgate. So Stormgate is, oh crap, what's their name?
Frostbite
Is that the name of it?
or Frost Giant?
Frost Giant. So these guys are the ones who branched off. The original StarCraft people from Blizzard branched off when they left, started Frost Giant. And so Stormgate is their new RTS. It is being billed as co-op. So Stormgate, this is just the description here. Stormgate is a free-to-play, real-time strategy game set amidst of war between humanity and an onslaught of alien invaders. Does that sound familiar to you?
A little bit.
Take on the campaign alone or cooperatively. Play casual and competitive PvP and co-op mode online. Welcome to the future of RTS. So, obviously, we've talked about on the show, we were very hyped for this game. Even though our RTS days, I think, have passed us. I think both
mine 100% have. I just like the style of game.
Both you and I used to be really big, and not when we knew each other, but I think when we were younger, RTSs were like a huge thing, like Command and Conquer, Age of Empires,
yeah.
StarCraft, Warcraft. What's the one I'm thinking of Rise of Nations? Like they were huge. Like it was RTSs were everywhere. Almost like you would think of like a BR is now, you would have RTS versions of a game, like Halo made an RTS, things like that. So high hopes for this. This hasn't knocked my hopes at all for it, but like you said, very little gameplay and mostly cinematic.
Like I got a name is what I took out of the whole showcase, right? They said there's going to be multiple races. Like they gave some information on it. They showed some pictures to go along with it to give you like an idea of what the world setting is like, but no gameplay. Nonetheless, still excited for the game.
Still excited.
Still waiting. I'll wait for information. Probably jump into it when it comes out, to more so to support them because I just want them to do well.
Right.
Like I'm really rooting for them more than anything. But yeah, didn't get much from it, but excited.
Like they're saying here on Steam, beta in 2023.
Cool.
The beta's in 2023. Like, okay, call me later then.
Give me a January beta, mid-year release. Okay, I can. That can work.
But just giving me the beta in 2023, what is this? What are we doing here? I need information. Like, now I get it. Most games don't want to do it because of delays and whatnot. But so there's Stormgate. We already talked about Street Fighter 6 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 last show. Both looked good. They are what they are. So we're not, blown away by it. But also excited. I am excited for...
Can I tell you one thing that I heard about Call of Duty Modern Warfare that might be a little new, maybe to you or some of our listeners, hopefully. If not, let me know. But I heard there's going to be a survival kind of mode in this game. Think Escape from Tarkov, but not as hardcore.
Oh,
but
I did not know
something
that.
where you're keeping gear and going back into a world to kind of...
Do you remember... Battlefield was supposed to have that?
Yeah, Battlefield was supposed to have a lot of things, Tim. Battlefield was supposed to have a lot of things and promised everything, gave nothing. With Call of Duty, I don't think they would ever hit that level of like tragedy. No. You know what I'm saying? So even if we didn't have a survival mode, for example, but we had a Warzone 2 and a really good MP for the next Modern Warfare, that would be exciting enough. But if they do add this extra element and try to modernize this, because the survival style game has a limited audience. I truly believe that. Like, it's a
Yeah.
very limited audience that's going to go in and play Escape from Tarkov.
I mean,
It is
even for us,
hardcore.
like I have never once played Escape from Tarkov because I know I don't have the time to invest.
It's very hardcore. It's military sim. You have to play a certain way to be successful. And there, in the sense, you can't go in like gunslinging like you were Shroud on a CSGO aim map. That's not how it works. So I think if they could modernize that style of game and make it more fun, inviting, hardcore, but not over the top where you feel like if you lose everything, you've just lost a week of playtime and meant nothing. That could be really exciting and cool because it would be nice to have that kind of shooting in that type of game. Usually those games are like military sim shooters, like just not our style. Kind of excited to hear them talk about that. And actually Scump that brought that up on the podcast. So I hope he has some insider knowledge as like he's heard that it was coming out. But anyways,
one more
thought
thing
that
to
was
play.
kind of interesting, and hopefully that is something that comes into fruition.
Could you imagine though, if that's the case? Just think about this for a second. Call of Duty will have multiplayer, which albeit is still popular, even though they kind of have it at being like the black sheep of the family. It's still popular,
but
and it's
it
to
is
its
the
own.
black sheep of the family in terms of what produces money
Right,
for them.
right. But it's still there, and it's still, I would say, good and successful in its own way, right?
When it's good, it's good.
Right. Like people still play it because that's how you go pro. So it's still there. They'll have the number 1 BR, and if this turns out, they'll have the number 1 survival.
Are they the number 1 BR right now to you?
My uneducated answer would be yes, but if you told me Apex might beat them,
I don't
pay attention to BR. So let's take this with a grain of salt. I don't watch
it. We're both in the same boat,
I don't pay attention. Right? I don't play them. But I see a lot of chatter on Apex, like on Twitter and Reddit. You know what I'm saying? Like I see a lot of people playing
like
Apex.
Apex is the top dog right now, and like 2 and 3 are tied almost with Fortnite and COD. I think COD has taken a step back. Obviously, their new map wasn't well received. When we were at
DreamHack, when it comes to BR, I saw way more people playing Apex and Fortnite than I did Call of Duty. In fact,
I mean, Fortnite had half the damn crowd, right?
Right, because the tournament. But even then,
Apex, anytime we kind of glanced over and somebody was playing a BR,
I really don't see any. I don't think I saw anyone playing Call of Duty. Now that I think about it, maybe 1 or 2, but Apex was definitely the BR of choice at DreamHack.
Yeah,
apart from the Fortnite tournament, obviously. But yeah. So maybe, but still. I mean,
but to have 3 types of games within one game that are near the upper echelon of that game style is very impressive.
Like you are triple dipping on one set of game.
Yeah, and it almost makes the $70 price tag for a 2-year cycle like feel a little bit better.
It softens the blow.
It came out survival day 1, a new Warzone, and ranked MP, play. Let's say. Okay, so ranked MP is there in this equation. Would that not be a day 1 buy for you?
Yeah, let's be real. Let's cut to the chase here, Nooch. You know what's going to be a day 1 buy for either you or I?
Easy.
If the other one convinces the other one to buy it. If I'm like, Anuj, I bought it, you're going to buy it. If you go, Tim, I bought it, I will buy it.
It's just one of us needs to buy it. Right. I don't need to convince you beyond that.
No, all you have to do is like, I got it. And I'll be like, fuck, all right. Give me a minute. I'm going to download it.
So we'll see who does it first, but they can also do something to encourage that, right? And
so, of course.
As more information comes out, I'm sure we'll update you guys over the next couple of months here. I mean, it's already got a release date, I believe.
Thankfully, neither one of us have invested money or really grinded out skins because this whole skins not... Did we talk about that last week? Skins not going over to...
Has that been 100% confirmed?
I mean, I assume I saw. I didn't know if it was confirmed or not. We'll talk about that. If we didn't talk about it last time, we do need to talk about it because
we'll get this confirmed and then we'll throw it in yikes because that's what it would be.
Okay. Excellent.
Or maybe good dude, depending on how you look at it.
Right. Other games that caught my eye, Starfield. This was from the Microsoft Bethesda showcase. Think of Skyrim in space. So
Exactly what it was, right?
yeah, for me, it looks awesome. That's definitely like Skyrim and Fallout were one of those RPGs back in the day that I actually played. So I enjoy them. They're open world, very relaxing. I would like to see them built in today's technology with today's twist on gameplay. So looking forward to look more into it. It does look exciting. I know some people were making fun of it, saying that it looked like No Man's Sky, but with better graphics. I'm like, well, what's the problem there if it's actually what No Man's Sky promised to be?
Yeah, but there was like combat and all that you saw in here, and like No Man's Sky was kind of combat towards
Adventure.
like yeah,
Type
more
of
like
thing.
adventure
Yeah.
focused. I look, I've been excited for this game. I don't know if it's necessarily the game I will end up playing, but I'm excited for the game. Like, it looks cool. I love any space
Yeah.
sim stuff.
To
So
this,
like the flying
I
and
just
all that
think
is
of this is
big
one of
part
those
it.
games where I'll turn down all the lights, I'll crank my graphics to ultra, and I'm going to enjoy it on a widescreen monitor. Like my
Is
ultra
it
wide.
full single player?
I have no idea.
I'm
You're asking the wrong
assuming it
guy.
is because it's like a Bethesda game, and that's kind of always been the focus. If it had a multiplayer aspect, doesn't even have to be PvP though, right? If just like you can play the game in a co-op style way, that would be awesome. Because yes, you're right. This would be a cool game to just sit back, get a controller on, sit on the couch behind me over here and just
Yeah.
play. Like that would be
Nothing
a lot
has
of
been
fun.
announced so far as as
So we'll see.
multiplayer
My
or co-op.
guess is it's straight single player. But yes, it looks very cool. The graphics and all that look great right now. Let's see how they look when they release it. But yeah, excited for the game.
Yep.
New IP, that's always a good thing. You'd love to see innovation from the bigger companies who tend to just want to make a sequel of everything else that they do. So yeah, excited for that one. Tim, can we get to the most exciting one?
Yes.
There's really only one reason that this is even a topic for this show.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that would be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tim. Shredder's Revenge. We've talked about this game at nausea on this show of waiting for it to release. I think we talked about it, if I had to guess, a year and a half to upwards of 2 years ago. This probably has been brought up on this show at some point. I did misunderstand something though. So can I tell you what I did misunderstand? Because it kind of bothered me that it wasn't what I thought it was. I thought we were getting this game along with the remakes of the original.
No, they're separate
games.
things.
So are they still releasing the original remakes?
Yeah, but
is
that's
that not a thing? Like, am I confused?
No. They're two different things, and they've kind of announced them on top of each other, so it is confusing. I also think that they are being made by two separate people, though. So Shredder's Revenge is being made by a different company, I think. Don't quote me on that part, but they are two different things. You have one which is a collection. You know, like how they did like the Mega Man games?
Yeah.
Where you can buy like the Legacy and it has like 4 or 5 Mega Man games in it. That's what they're doing with whatever they're calling it. I forget. But then you have Shredder's Revenge, which is, I think, like a brand new standalone. Right? Yeah. That's right. I'm going to say that's right. They are two separate things. They are doing two different things.
I see them both on Steam right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So Shredder's Revenge, I think, is the one that you said is going to be a day one on the Microsoft Store.
Mm-hmm.
So that will be day one download. Like, tell the wives we're cashing in our birthday.
That we just need to I almost feel like, hey, just bring your laptop over and connect it to the TV or something, and let's just game.
If we can, what? If we can game, because we have the wireless adapter that we can connect multiple controllers. So I'd be totally down going to your house.
Could we even just do it on my computer?
That's what I mean. And we can old school, one screen.
Well, that's all you need for that game. I don't need my own screen.
We can stream it from your house.
I would love that. So let's find out
if the technology exists, we'll do that.
Planned release date June 16th. Is that true?
I think that's what you said. That's what you told me.
Wait, it's coming out this weekend?
I think so. birthday. This is my birthday weekend, so maybe I can. How upset would your wife be if we skipped your son's birthday party?
She probably wouldn't notice.
What if we said we? What if? All right, Anuj, I got this. I got this. I figured it out.
Oh my god, it is June 16th.
You send your wife and kids off to the birthday party. Say, oh, I got to run back to the house. I forgot something. I will then be waiting at your house. Then we call both of our respective wives and say, we just tested positive for COVID. So we're going to stay at Anuj's house and chill here for like a couple of weeks. And
I just
you
had
guys
COVID recently. She's not going to buy it.
Go back to
We
our
need to tell her
house.
we were in an accident.
And it's super gory and you don't want to come home.
Like Tim's taking me to the hospital right now.
Yeah. But don't come home.
But yeah, I'm fine. Enjoy the party.
Yeah.
Don't worry about me. I'll see. No, we should find. Damn, it's kind of coming out at the worst damn time, Mr. Teenage Mutant Ninja
It's a busy
Turtles.
time.
You couldn't have picked a better month.
It's a busy
So
time. We'll figure
maybe
it
this
out.
is a July month game for us that we like have in our library day one. If we could hold off a few weeks, that would be ideal. It's either way, super excited. A new game in that same type of like side-scrolling format. You know, it looks great.
Old school. Yeah.
They did give it like a real old school look, which I guess I'm okay with. I wish somebody would kind of take it using next gen graphics for this type of like side scroller, but either way, right up our alley. Looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. There's a handful of different characters you can actually play as, not just the Ninja Turtles. So I will be playing as Donatello, just so you know. I don't know if there's any arguments there, but
Come on.
I will be Donatello.
Is there any question on
you're
who?
Raphael, right?
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo, yeah, both kind of in that same. You're left brain, right brain kind of separation between you and I on who we're choosing here. I feel,
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, looks great, Tim. I'm excited, and this is that Game Pass stuff that we talk about all the time.
It's worth every penny.
It's worth every penny, like it really is. And the next one that you're about to bring up is going to enhance our love for Game Pass and what they're giving us as gamers.
Yeah, this is unreal. Honestly, this is unreal, and I had to Google 3 different times to make sure this was real. At the Microsoft announcement, they announced that they are moving Riot Games over to Games Pass. Well, I say moving. They will also be available through Games Pass. So League of Legends, Wild Rift, Runeterra, Valorant, and other Riot games, aka their soon-to-be announced fighting game. I'm assuming I need more information on this. But, Anuj, with that, for Game Pass holders, for League of Legends and Valorant, you are going to get all agents, all champions, completely unlocked. And then with the other games, you'll get bonuses and things like that. But that's the 2 big ones. League of Legends, all champions, Valorant, all agents.
Like so for Valorant, cool. That's whatever. Like it is nice that all agents are unlocked. But for League of Legends, like, holy crap. That is 150 plus characters. And look, I don't play a lot of League of Legends, but I probably have a couple 100 hours logged into the game, and I maybe have 1/10 of the character list that's available. So to just have them all, I'm not saying all of a sudden I'm going to be a League guy, but I can bet your ass there's a lot of people out there that excites, and I'm hoping there's a way to take my current accounts and like merge all of them.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll log in, much like EA and Xbox. You kind of log in through both of them, and it filters everything through there. But I'm excited for that. I mean,
that is probably the best deal I could think of in terms of money value. Because to unlock an agent, I think is $10 in Valorant if you just want to pay straight for the unlock, and there are probably 8 to 10 agents that are locked if you just open the game for the first time today, maybe more. And then in League of Legends, I mean, you talk about the amount of playtime or real life dollars that it would cost to unlock everybody. Dude, that's kind of absurd.
Yeah, no, like I said, I had to look at this a handful of times to make sure that this was actually a thing. So
You knew I had a lot of questions when you messaged it to me, and I peppered you with about 6 questions without you even having a moment to answer one of them. I was like, "Wait a minute. For everyone? Free?
Yep,
Can you merge
hundred
accounts?
percent.
Can you do this?" You're like, "Dude, I'm literally just reading you the headline that I just saw.
Yeah, it's
Like, go look it up."
but I mean, still, just absolutely insane deal.
Uh,
So once again,
they're like running away because PlayStation also announced like their Game Pass. We're gonna call it Game Pass for the sake of making our
yeah,
lives
whatever
easy,
it's
but
called.
their live streaming service, whatever they have. Um, I do not know how they compete with this. Not just like the League of Legends, Valorant stuff, which is amazing on its own, and that also means you can expect future Riot games to come
Well, that's
on
why I said that
to the,
fighting game, right? The fighting
yeah,
game,
like
which, hey, listen, FGC games are already littered with DLC fighters, right? Like that's half the reason people don't play them
yeah,
because it's going to cost you nine
Riot's
hundred
Animal
dollars.
Crossing game that they kind of have coming out. I call it Animal Crossing. It looks like a Animal Crossing type MMO that they have coming out. Um, Starfield obviously will be on there because that's a Bethesda game. You're gonna have obviously the game that we were excited about with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I mean, it's like each month you can see the lineup, and it's like wow, there is like something genuinely worth $30 of my money, let's say, this month that I would spend
I mean, even
if
here,
I
like
didn't
I'm
have.
looking at it, and it's like they added For Honor on the Games Pass list. Like, again, something that you and I would never buy, but for it being like if we wanted to download it and play it for a weekend to dick around, they have a Match Point, which is a new tennis game. I'm going to play that. But again, this is just free advertising for us to
Is
need
that
to
out?
add. What, the tennis game?
Match point, yeah.
July 7th. So I'm going to download that though. I actually have it set for pre-install because I've been looking for a new tennis game. It's been a while. Dominated Topspin back in the day. Dominated. But
I even have Mario Aces.
I do too. I do too.
That's a great game.
So just another way though for us to give free advertising to Microsoft because they really need it. They really just need the free advertising. So there's that. A lot of good stuff from Summer Game Fest and the Microsoft Bethesda thing. So like I said, I think PlayStation is coming up here in a couple of weeks. So we'll see what they have to offer. Actually, man, I still got some of this DreamHack cough. Took another COVID test though, no COVID. So yeah, I think PlayStation might have actually already done this a couple weeks ago. Now that I think about it,
They had one,
yeah,
yeah.
because they announced Spider-Man's coming to PC, and I think that was like the big thing. So there you go. All right, let's get to this, Anuj. The moment everyone's been waiting for, the CSGO map tier list. First, give us the background. What was about the original one that triggered you so much that you felt that you needed to do this?
So Vu, he, is the Twitter guy that I know here. He put out a tier list, and I actually don't have it up. But I was looking at this tier list, and obviously you start thinking of like, oh, what would I do here? How would I rank these? And I was just bitching about the map pool just the other night when I was playing with one of our buddies, Tom. I was telling him, man, I wish like we were doing an aim match on cobblestone or whatever. I'd say aim match, it was death match on cobblestone. I was like, dude, I really like there were so many good esports moments on that map that I could think of and highlight. And then I got to thinking of our current map pool and how many maps I just completely dislike that are in the map pool that don't have like great story building, which I feel like a map can do a little bit, like help with that. And some of them just don't, in my mind, cut it for me. And so on his list, there were some maps, like I said, that were on there that he had ranked an A and B tier that I just totally didn't want to agree with. I don't want to call them all out, but it's probably some of the obvious ones that we talked about, like the Vertigos and things like that. Anyways, I thought it'd be fun for us to do our own. And also, which he did not do because we are extra like this, is I wanted to include some maps that either were in the map pool at one point
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or the community has been begging to enter the map pool for the first time, right? Maybe they're in the workshop, whatever. But maps that are made and available to play, whether it's through the workshop or current active pool.
Okay. I like it.
Sound good?
I like it. Let me first pull up this. What in God's name did I just click? All right. So I'm pulling up the list that we have together. Boom. All right. Now, not all these are on the list,
a
so you'll just have to
three-screen
tell
type
me.
split here?
No. I got to get this whole. I have never set that up on this PC, this new one yet, so we'll just have to visually give the
Let
aid,
me
and
go
then I'll
pull
tweet
up
it out
my
later.
list that I sent you. So I
Plus,
can
we
see
don't have the full. These tier lists that are pre-made don't have everything on there. So, what would you say, as we do with every tier list? Then, what would you say? Let's start with like an S tier, just so we can get that measurement down.
An S tier map for me would be Inferno right now.
Anuj, if I were next to you, I'd kiss you. I just would straight up smack you right on the mouth, because that to me is an S tier map. In fact, it is my number one map.
Is it your number one? I think it's
in all of
right-
CSGO. It's my number one map.
I think right now it's one of my, if not my favorite, like it's one of my favorites to play for sure. I think it's competitively balanced.
Yep.
I think that it's got great execute ability from multiple angles. It's not like just a one-way entry to both sites and everything is very choreographed. Like I feel like people come up with new ways to expose that map and play it different ways. And I think it offers, maybe we'll talk about our three categories: viewership, playability, and just competitiveness, right? Those are kind of the three key points here. I think it kind of checks all three boxes. It's fun to play, unless obviously you're just on a shitty team, but that'll happen on any map. But it's fun to play. It's fairly balanced. It's had very memorable esports moments, from majors to
C9
just
major,
big events. Yeah, it's just
site.
very, very memorable moments. And from a viewership standpoint, it's a map that's been around forever with subtle changes throughout its history. So everybody recognizes it. Maybe it's not Dust 2 recognizable.
Right. No, it does.
But it's very, very recognizable.
Yeah, very recognizable. Yes, it doesn't have like you said, maybe historical skins on the wall like a Dust 2.
But it kind of does, right?
I mean, but again, with CS maps, they all somewhat do, right? Because they've all been around. But I'm just, from competitive standpoint, I enjoy playing Inferno the most. Like you said, it's not one of these maps where, we'll get to it with Mirage, where it's like if you're playing it and you don't know the smokes, good luck, right? Like it's a very tough map. Inferno is one of those maps where you can kind of play around not knowing every single smoke on the map.
Because there's like key points, right? You're smoking off CT spawn when you're going up banana, right?
Right.
You just gotta like see it, line it, throw it, even if you have to jiggle peek a corner to throw that smoke. It's not like you're having to aim at this X on the wall, jump, throw. But if you're on 64 tick, like, you don't have to worry. You're not having to fucking do calculus along the way. And
so it's perfect. Also, I think Inferno, from a competitive standpoint, viewership standpoint, this ticks off all of them. It offers the best rotations of any map in CS. Like, if a bomb is planted and you have to have a retake and you have guys rotating from B to A or A to B, I think it offers a whole new level of excitement, because for, like you said, there's so many ways to get into sites. And even like on B site, where you're like, man, all it is though is banana. Like, you would think that would make it difficult, like to enter into B, but defending banana is just as difficult as getting through it, right?
Because it does still have three entryways onto that site, right? Through CT spawn, then you have construction, and then you have banana. And so, like, obviously, if a team gets onto a site with all their utility, then yes, they can shut it down and stop you from entering and retaking the site. But that's on any map. You're right, though. It's just, it has that comeback ability. We've seen teams be down 13-2 at half and make a crazy run on the second half and at least make it interesting, right?
Right.
And not every map really has that ability. And maybe now that we've defined the S tier, let's take it down to F tier and kind of set that standard of what we're thinking of here. And I'll let you shoot from the hip here because we as you guys know, Tim and I did zero prep on this. Okay.
Very little prep.
Zero. The only thing we did was create a map list and say, hey, we're doing this next show. Come with whatever you want to think of on it. And I'm sure you put hours of time into
Well, I
thinking on it.
crunched the numbers. I looked at old games to really understand
But-
what I'm looking at here.
But with that being said, our choices may not be the same here. So I would like to know, what would you throw in F tier, and let's see if I agree or need to help you persuade you otherwise.
From a playing standpoint, I'm not
All
saying
three.
this is it.
I need you
Right,
to
I know.
encompass all three.
I'm just saying, if you asked, like, gun to my head, I would say Mirage is an F tier because I hate that map so much, but I do know that there are worse maps than Mirage. So I'm not going to say Mirage, but no, I want to say Mirage.
Okay.
That being said, on this list, I still think Ancient is a terrible map. From a playing standpoint, from a viewership standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, maybe it draws the short straw because it's a newer map, so we just don't know it as well. That comes from a pros and observer standpoint. All of those excuses can be said, but I also just don't think it's that great of a map. Aesthetically, I think it's ugly. I don't like is it A site where you can like go through Donut and all that. I just don't like it. I don't think it's a good map.
So, okay, I'm okay with that answer. I didn't have it in my F tier. I had it one above, so I don't know how much it's worth arguing with you. I did have one map below it.
See, did you have Vertigo?
I did.
See,
Vertigo,
and I know historically you and I always butt heads over those two maps on which one's worse. I know you hate Vertigo.
To me, Vertigo is the most predictable gameplay from a pro standpoint. It has very limited good pug ability from a personal playing standpoint, and I think it's very boring to watch because of everybody's doing the exact same setups. If you are executing on A, you're smoking off the backside, you're smoking off the rotation connector, you're going to try and get the bomb down, and then you're going to back up to ramp or wherever you need to hide and pray that you get kills as they try to come through. That is the play for that site, and there really is no other way to even do it because you can't access that site.
Yeah. I will say, way, right? I will give you on Vertigo, I think has the worst feature of a map in all of Counter-Strike, and that's B site, the stairs. I think the stairs that you have to take up to the B site, whether you're getting there originally to take the site or if you're rotating to retake, I think it's absolutely useless to try because you have to use so much utility to give your information away. Even if you have everything smoked, it's not like the stairs are like the whole wide width of that area. Like, it is so easy to still know, like, oh, okay, I'm just going to still shoot in this general area because you have to come up these stairs.
And like one utility blocks that whole area off.
Right? Molly.
One smoke blocks it off. One molly blocks it off. If you have two people playing on site and you know they're pushing stairs, a nade stack completely demolishes it before they get onto site. Oh, and then really the only thing showing when you're coming up those stairs is your head. So you got to kind of avoid.
And you can see those stairs from about 5 different spots from site.
Yeah, like,
so if there is someone watching, they definitely know where you are.
Crappy hiding spots on that map too, like just what I consider one trick kind of spots that are annoying, but they serve a purpose, obviously. So for me, Vertigo is F tier. Ancient, I think because of the new, like it's newer.
The newness might be,
and it is like a little bit more set up like a traditional Counter-Strike map, right? With the mid lane, the 2 runways to either site with some rotation capabilities there.
I can give, I will All right, we'll make Vertigo the F tier. Ancient will give the benefit of the doubt that it's a newer map, so maybe.
Like they're still slightly changing
but it's not
Ancient
good.
up.
It's not good, but yes,
It's not good. It is not. Look, like we're talking. That's why I said I wasn't going to argue it too
Right.
much with you because they're both lower tier maps to me, so I could live with either one. But yeah, I would have Vertigo a little bit below Ancient right now.
So let me ask you this then, to get into more of a controversial one. Mirage. I feel like Mirage is actually more played than Dust 2, especially when it comes to pugs, especially on the pro scene. We see it quite often. I am not a fan of Mirage. I think it's very difficult to pug in. I think it's one of those where if your team doesn't know the smokes to entry onto either site, A or B, it makes it very difficult. If you don't know the smoke to hit Sniper's Nest, it's very difficult to go down mid. So that's from a pugging standpoint. From a competitive standpoint, I think we've just seen it too much. Like I just think there's been talks of them removing it from the competitive pool, which I think they've already done once already. And they've made some adjustments by adding that bench in the mid to maybe you can get in one more spot to hit off cat, but it just doesn't really seem to solve a lot of the issues with Mirage. I think it's a very mid-tier, maybe like C-tier map in my opinion. That could also be just because I hate playing it, but I don't think it's as highly as people make it out to be.
Yeah, so like taking our 3 categories into account, pug play, hate. Absolutely hate it. Okay, agree with you 100% there. People have to know the executes on that map to do anything on T side. If you don't, it's just a raw aim type scenario, and you better hope your team is just more physically gifted, right? Not a fun pug map for me. It's a fairly even map when it comes to percentages, though, right? In terms of win rates, it's not an unbalanced map like an Ancient. Ancient is heavily CT favored. Mirage fairly 50-50. I think Mirage would be a middle of the tier map because I think on competitive pro scene, I really actually enjoy watching Mirage, watching the pros play it. They're exciting with the op on that map. Like a good opper can really kind of move around and take window control, hop into A through jungle, can wrap around into CT and can kind of be like a Skadoodle might be a little boring to watch on that map, right? He likes to hold his place and is not overly aggressive, but like a Monacy or a Simple, they can really like have high kill maps. That to me makes it an exciting map. And then viewership wise, I think it's also fine. Super basic. It used to be what CPL Strike back in the day, so people are very familiar with the layout. It's been in Counter-Strike forever, just under a different name for its first half of its life, I guess you could say. I think it's a mid-tier map. I would no lower than a C.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of probably where I would.
That's what I was thinking of C. And like I said, and that's just because I hate playing it.
Like the playing it part really drags that down because I do think, again, competitive to me is high enough to be like, oh yeah, that's a solid like B plus when it comes to competitive play. I really think pros are fun to watch on that map, but I do not enjoy getting in it. I don't queue it. I hope it's out of the rotation. So like a lot of negative feelings towards the map. One I want to ask you about, because I know you enjoy playing this map, but it's currently not in the map pool.
Oh,
And
I know what map you're talking.
That would be our favorite easiest call outs of any map, and that would be Train.
Yeah. I actually thought you were going with a different map because I also love another map that's not in the rotation. But
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
But I really do enjoy Train. I know a lot of people don't. I think Train gets a bad rap because of they've taken it out of the rotation, I think like once or twice now, or at least they never put it back in, however you want to look at it. I really do though. I find Train super exciting. What I love about Train that you don't get as much on other maps is a lot of the kind of long distance shooting, right? Whether you're on A site or B site, it's very just kind of openness, right? And
You're saying you do get a lot of long distance shooting
on Train, yeah, you do
okay.
get that.
I thought you said didn't. I was
no,
like,
no. I mean, really, just like maybe. I mean, you never get into a gunfight if you're going up top through like showers or things like that towards B site. You rarely get into a gunfight there. Ivy is kind of going to be your only place where you're really getting close, right? If you're going through Ivy, but other than that, I mean, it's for the most part, I would say long distance shooting, and mental gameplay of how they're slow walking through the trains on A site, or if like a pro, or even like there's so many memorable moments on A site, even from us playing, where the bomb's down or you're trying to get the bomb down, and how many times you try to outfake or outsmart the opponent around that train on the A bomb site, right? So I enjoy Train. I would put it personally above Mirage. I would, at the moment, a B. I would say B. It's been so long since we've seen it on a pro scene, so I don't really...
Train, to me, is like an iconic map, right? That's a given. It's just, again, an original. I think from a pug standpoint, I really don't like it. I think it's very difficult from a pug standpoint, partially because people don't know the map. So you very rarely have an execute go well at our level of play. I think B site becomes very difficult to execute on when people just don't know their shit, right? You just kind of run down the ramp and hope they miss the opening shot of you coming through, and throw a casual smoke here and there, flash out, and go. I think from a pug standpoint, I don't like it. I like the map, but I don't like pugging it. I do like the competitive play on it. For me, one of the most iconic memories is not even a instance where somebody was shooting. It was Zeus calling the timeout, motivating his troops in freeze time, and even after the round started, keeping everybody in spawn to give his motivational speech for Gambit before they went and took the major. So, I mean, to me, it's got some great memories. I would also put it in like a B, C tier. I definitely don't think it's S or A. I do think it's middle of the pack, and a rework would be nice for it. Callouts, I jokingly said as easy, because like, although people just say the colors of the train of where people are standing, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, it can be chaotic for sure.
Yeah, like it's hard to retake on A because there's a million places to hide. Same thing with B, right? All the different trains you can kind of hide around and move around. So yeah, B tier is fine with me. I wouldn't argue that. I think it is as good competitively as Mirage, with more. Yeah, shoot, B tier is fine. I can live with that as a B tier map. I'm going to talk myself out of it, I think, if I keep talking, so I'm going to stop talking. But I think B tier is fine. I hate Mirage playing it, so I maybe don't hate Train as much, and that'll be the factor
pretty much
here.
Yeah. So let me go with another, another map, same scope, Cache. Another map that used to be in the rotation, I thought was liked. It's been updated, but still out of the rotation for whatever reason, right? Valve is not showing it love whatsoever. Meanwhile, we have the same maps over and over and over again. You could just put it in there and then people ban it or play it, but whatever. Don't tell me how to run your game. Cache. I love Cache. I love it from a playing standpoint. It's been a while since we've seen it on the pro side. I recall it being pretty stale back in the day on the pro side, if I'm remembering correctly, and you can correct me, feel free to. The rotations are quick, much like Inferno. The matches that we play on it, I feel like are always pretty close. Like you can have that comeback. I love A site on the map. Absolutely love defending it. I love trying to go in and retake it. Love A site. B site, not so much. I feel like it's
B-site, the retake ability feels like significantly harder, right? But
yeah,
that's okay. Like that's typically how it is on Counter-Strike maps, where one map or one site is generally more open and easier to retake, harder to maybe like hold as well though. And usually one is like, significantly
yeah.
easier. So that's kind of a wash compared to other maps. I'm pretty much right there with you in your thought process though. I really enjoy playing the map. I think competitively on a pros level, it's okay, right? Like I have memorable moments, right? Like Shroud sitting on top and having one of his iconic 4Ks from on top of the boxes. There's a reason there's a corner called NBK Corner. We've seen some fun stuff come out of that map. I think it's a B tier map in my mind. I
Hmm.
really wouldn't give it an A tier rating, although like it's close. Like
It's close,
it's been
but
it's been a while since it's been in the map pool is the problem, right? So I'm
I mean,
starting
and
to maybe forget.
we haven't even seen this version of Cash played
True.
competitively. So
This version of Cash, though, I do like. I think it's good. Um, it's the same map, just kind of looks nicer, right? With the extra hole, window hole in the middle,
in
and
middle,
everything
that's
else
the
is like
biggest difference.
kind of the same. And so, yeah, I like the map. It's borderline A, high B. So maybe wherever you could be the final call here on this one. Again, I wouldn't
I would say
really.
B. I would say B. We might move it just depending on what else is in A and B, but I think B is a perfect spot for
Let's
it
put it
right
this
now.
way: I would love to see Train and Cash both back in the map pool.
Right.
So equally, like I would be happy if either one of them came back to competitive play, and so maybe that's why that should be enough
Yeah.
to give it like the same rating.
I don't think my god. I don't think either one of them is bad enough to be out. Like I don't understand why either one of them are completely out of the rotation. I mean, if pros don't like them, they can ban them and go from there. But we're in a world where they can play Ancient and Vertigo, but Train and Cash are out. Like you're saying those are just two unplayable maps, but we get Ancient and Vertigo.
It's like them trying to freshen it up, and it's not.
Like you got the maps there, just let them play and pick. That's the whole pick and ban feature, but whatever.
I want to ask you about a little bit of a newer map. You probably haven't had a chance to play it a ton, but you might have some insight to it. I want to know what you think about Dust 2.
Oh yes, yeah, I've played it a few times. I mean, my gut says S tier because it's just such an iconic map. I mean, you talk to people and they're like, "Oh yeah, I played CSGO back when I was 10 years old when it first came out, but I haven't played it since." And then you could still talk about Dust 2 with them, right? Like for the most part, it is the same map apart from a few differences. I actually like the newer differences, especially down mid, not being able to shoot directly through doors. I do like the changes they made to Dust 2. It's such an iconic map. It's really hard to talk shit on it. It is, though, like I've said before, it's one of those maps where anything can happen. Like, if you are the number one team in the world up against number 20 could easily take you on Dust 2 because it's just a map that everyone knows like the back of their hand. And so it makes it very difficult to play, even on a pug or a pro level, which I guess from a viewer standpoint, that's plus, right? For us, it's exciting seeing a Dust 2 map when the pros play it because it's like the best on the best. For pugging, I don't love it, but that's also because I think I've just, I've been there, done
Worn
that
out. Yeah.
a million times. I would still say though, I mean, S or an A tier. I gotta give it
So
no
I'm
lower
going to
than
differ
that.
from you a little bit here. Enough to where we won't be able to put it in S tier because I had it in like a B tier category also.
Really?
And the reason being is like from a pro play, for whatever reason, the pros don't like Dust 2. Okay. There are very few teams that actually.
No, and I think that it's because they know that no team has an advantage on Dust 2. None.
Yeah. And it's like also like stagnant, even with the changes that were made. Like there's they didn't change a lot. It's just like, hey, now you can't peek down mid, you got to drop down, and that's really like the change. They opened up the skybox going into B, so that helps a little bit. But I still think B site is very like atrocious to take. You know,
I mean, you're basically sending one person in to be fodder and then hoping he might get enough information to tell you where they're at, or, you know, if you're lucky enough, he hits someone. And then the rest is you're just hoping people are behind you.
yeah, like again, one piece of utility at a time can hold that side off individually, assuming you have somebody covering mid,
Right.
right? Like that mid split. But like one smoke, then you're Molly. Then you could maybe nade it to push him back. And then you could throw a flash if you wanted to. And that's like enough to hold somebody off for roughly a minute and a half of that round, you know? So I don't like that part of it. I just think it's a little stale, but it's a fun map, and it's because we just know it so well. So I'd say like B, A tier. I am okay with us throwing it in A tier because it sounds like that's where we're going to end up now. But I am a little bored of the map.
Of course,
like,
of course.
Personally, I'll play it, but if I'm queuing on my own or queuing with somebody outside of really just you and me, or even one of our buddies, Kamar, who only knows that map for the most part, it feels like I kind of would prefer a handful of other maps to play over it.
Yeah, of course.
But from a viewing standpoint, it's fun. It's understandable. It is a little stale, but still has very exciting, iconic moments. It's hard to put it in anything under an A tier for those reasons. But I do know that it's not like a well-received map in the pro community. Like they're
right. No, and I agree. I'm not arguing that. Like, you could probably argue that from a map standpoint, it is a B tier. But there's just so much that's happened on that map, and I do think from a viewing standpoint, part of that stagnant makes it exciting because when
if it's a
something
map
happens,
3,
it's
I'm happy
huge.
about that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a map 3, it's like, oh, okay. We all know Dust 2. Nobody has a significant advantage,
Right.
even if it's not part of your normal rotation. I know you know the damn map. You've deathmatched on it for 1,000,000+ hours, so you should be relatively comfortable with your angles and stuff. So yeah, I mean, let's throw it in A tier. I think we probably get blasted on that a little bit because like we're thinking more just the iconic piece, which is deserved for that map. But I think it'll fall like
it's either a
people
low
want it out of the map pool. You know, like they're asking for it to be like dropped so something new can come in. I'm like, well, we still got Ancient and Vertigo, guys.
Right,
And Mirage. Like we could just pick one of those instead.
Look, the nice thing about Dust 2 is it's the old faithful, right? You're at a late night of Counter-Strike. You're on like your 5th game. We've already played all these maps. Let's throw on Dust 2. Because you know if it's on there, you're going to play it because it's always the number one time.
You can never queue it still if you don't really want to play it because you know it's going to pop. It's gonna, right? It's gonna can I take us off script for one that's not on your list that you're probably looking at right there?
Yeah, please do.
Because this is going to bring up some good memories, I feel, for a lot of us. Cobblestone once was in the map pool for a long time. This was when Navi was in their second place era that they kind of lived in for a couple of years. I remember this map being a iconic map during that time in CSGO. They modified it a couple of times since then for the worst. So if any devs are listening, recognize that the modifications that you made were for the worst, and it has made that map worse than it once was. Not in the map pool. Still can queue for it and play it, but not in the map pool. What are your thoughts on Cobblestone?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
And I know you do. I don't like it in any version of the map. I just think it was, for a while there, very one-sided. And the entry points on some of the sites, so I don't even remember which bomb site was which. B was the one with the chicken coop, right? And then A was the one by the truck. A was terrible. Just a terrible site. B was exciting to try to take, and it was exciting to watch, but I still think you had like the one hallway that they could come down, or maybe even that second one. It's been so long since I played it. Drop can go to hell. So it was a tough map. I didn't like playing it. If you like you would put whoever was your least favorite friend, you told to go watch Drop. Because
yeah, for sure.
Like you take your worst player on your team and you put your entry fragger in on defense.
Either
and you
the
put
worst
him on
player or
Drop.
the one with no ego. One
Right.
of the two. You got to have somebody that just doesn't care about their stat line if they're going to cover Drop effectively. Yeah, I really like Cobblestone, and a couple reasons. A, it's a map I grew up on. It was always there. Played it a ton. It was the map I got to play Team 3D against, so it holds a
There you go.
special place in my heart. So that was one of the maps that we played them on, which was cool. Other one was Dust 2, so there you go. We did lose 2-0 in our best of 3.
No.
And I love the moments that we've gotten from that map. Like I think of Snacks and the Big Apple call out, like his 4K pistol round to close it out. I mean, there's just, Skadoodle hitting one of the craziest jumps that I've seen from, I guess, I don't even know what it's called anymore, but the runway onto the platform and be like, it was up top.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I still remember Launders freaking out on stream when it happened, saying that, like, yes, that jump is doable, but to do that in a live match in the like, it had some cool quirkiness to it. Drop was brutal, right? But if you had somebody that knew how to play it, it made you a lethal team on that map if somebody could hold Drop effectively. I thought retake ability is there, although the rotations could be long depending on what kind of retake you were trying to do. I liked it. It wasn't perfect. It definitely was not a perfect map, and I'm not going to fight for an SA tier type scenario here. Like I know its place, but if you're asking me, did I think it was way worse than like Train, for example? Like I probably remember more iconic moments from Cobble than I do Train, and Train was there more recently. I would fight for a B tier map. Part of that could be nostalgia, but it was like a good competitive map, fine viewing map. Like again, it was a common pick in people's rotation. It wasn't an insta ban, so we saw it a lot.
Man, there was a stretch there. It was like guaranteed.
It was in every best of 3.
Yeah,
like you would
guaranteed
always see
map
it.
3.
So, like
it was during the time of like the Columbus Major, so like 2015. It was every.
You saw it all the time, and that should kind of tell you a little bit of something about the map when it's like in everyone's map pool. It's not an insta ban for 50% of teams because they don't want to learn Ancient because they don't like the map and just don't want to bother messing with it. But I would say like I would put it in B tier because right now to me B tier is like the maps I want to see back in the map pool, right? Like that's what this is looking like for me right now.
For me, I would say C tier, so I won't argue B. You can put it in B because if they tweaked it and we played it, I might enjoy it.
Yeah, I think, and it would. Now, like in its current form, it would be lower than B. Okay, so
it's been so long since I played.
Be upfront there. Like I don't think it's a B in its current form if it came back into the meta. But if they made some changes or reverted some changes, I do think it was like a decently good map and better than a lot of the maps in our current map pool. So I would have it in B.
I think for me, maybe our first A tier. Or no, we have Dust 2 A tier. Our first unanimous A tier. Because Dust 2, we could either do like a B plus or an A minus. It's right there in the middle, depending on what day you play it.
Yeah.
Overpass. Overpass to me, I think, is a solid A tier. You might be able to convince me S tier. It is a very historical map. One of the few maps that we have a spray on, right? On B site for Olafmeister. Is that right?
Yeah.
His flame diffuse. His angel diffuse. I think it offers excellent rotations. I mean, quick rotations from primarily from A to B. You can get to heaven very quick to get information, drop, all that. I like that. I like maps with quick rotations for that reason. I think even today we're learning so many new things. You had the Fnatic pixel glitch on that map, which was a controversy. But even now we're having, I think even the Fnatic, was it Fnatic or Virtus Pro? The boosting, where they would stack 3 or 4
5-man boost, basically.
Yeah, like there's a few nutty spots on that map where you can do a 3 or 4 man boost, see across the map. You don't see it very often, but when it does, you know it's exciting. You can enter in on a lot of different spots from different sites. Utility plays a huge part in it, but not enough like Mirage to where you're screwed if you don't know it from a pugging standpoint. I think Overpass, and I think it's also the map we play the most, so that might also have tell you something. But I think Overpass is a solid A+. You could probably convince me S tier.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think it's an A map, an A tier map, and I wouldn't argue that at all. I think, again, I do think we are the minority on this map as well. Right now, I think both of our A tier maps would be highly contested by a lot of the community.
And
I truly believe that.
Dust 2, I get it. Dust 2, I get. Overpass I don't get.
Was always in a bad state until the most recent iteration of the map. It was not well liked when it first was introduced into the map pool. There was several reasons, but it did suck when it came out. So people don't have great early on memories of Overpass. They had to revamp it several times to get it into its current state. By Monster, they had that other entrance on top of Monster, which was like really weird.
Yeah.
And like there was like some really odd quirkiness to that map early on that was really not well received. I think it's in a much better place now. I think it's a great competitive map, at least for watchability. You're right, the rotations are there. You can retake it from several angles. A little bit readable, I think, in the executes for that map. With how you would have to execute on some of the sites, like it is fairly readable on what they're doing when you're watching it, but that's not always a bad thing. I think it's just a good overall map that's fun, that's still fresh. We don't have a lot of that in Counter-Strike. Like you said, we are still learning some things here and there about the map.
What team was it a month or two ago where they tried to throw away an op and threw it off the map? But they just
onto the other side.
But they literally threw it over the hedges and it landed on the other side where the other team was.
There's like
it's like awesome stuff like that.
In like an aggressive opera on that map that pushes mid fountain at the start of a round, like that stuff is like exciting to see. It starts off rounds with a bang and it gets you captivated. And if we are the minority here, I'm okay with that. To me, it's an A map.
Yeah.
Another one I want to ask you about, Tim, that's probably not on your list there. And let's just double this up, okay? I'm going to just ask you about both of these maps. We don't have to split them up. You might have them ranked similar. We were thinking of this name the other day, and we couldn't remember it. And that's Day Season, which is like that whitish blue.
Like lab map,
not
right?
Santorini. Yeah, it's like a lab map, right? And then the other one, another one that's been highly requested from the community is Tuscan, which used to be known as CPL Mill for you 1.6 players, got turned into Tuscan after that. Asked for by a lot of the communities, but let's talk about these two because I know we don't have icons for either of them, I don't believe, so we can kind of just gauge what our thoughts are here on these two maps.
It's been so long since I played either one of these, like years since I played them. Season probably being the most recent because I think they included it in one of the like the battle pass, whatever they call it, type of things. I enjoyed playing them, especially Seasons. I remember thinking it was a very good map with a few tweaks, which I think a lot of those kind of maps, like even if you want to include like Zoo or any of those maps where it's like, man, this has potential. Sure, after a few play tests and a few million matches on it, you figure out some things that need to be adjusted. But I think they're all okay. Nothing that great, but nothing worse than Ancient or Vertigo.
Yeah, I think Season is on the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to the tier list, right? They're not the bottom, but they would be C, D tier, fall somewhere into that category. Good map, not a great map. I kind of liked it at times, but like I also remember other times where I really just brutally hated that map,
Mm-hmm.
especially that little corridor between the two where you kind of had to walk past that open vent. Some things I
I was
just
about to actually bring up that was one of the things that was like that middle part.
I just didn't like
cut through
that
the
middle like
vent and
connection area. Now there was like a middle open area which was okay, but um the sites were fine, I thought. But it's okay map. CD, if it ever came into the map pool, I wouldn't hate it, but I don't think people are like clamoring for it the way they are for Tuscan. And Tuscan, for those of you that don't remember, was in 1.6. It was under CPL Mill. That is truly an iconic map. Like that is a map that I'm shocked has never found its way into CS:GO. They have not even reached out to the creator of that map to try and buy it off of him. He has made updated versions of that map for CS:GO that are in the workshop right now. I think one was even most recently updated just a couple months back. So it is like there and available for you to go and try out in its old state, how I remember it, because I don't know what it looks like now. I just follow 3 Click Phillips, and he'll post stuff about it from time to time. In its old form, to me, that was like a B, A tier kind of map. It wasn't like always great, but I thought it was a good looking map, pretty decent layout, iconic games from 1.6 era. And that's probably, again, I think it would probably go into perfect for our B tier, actually, with all the maps that we want to see back into the pool. I think that's right where it belongs because I do think it deserves a chance to be in the competitive map pool. See how it works out, but I think it deserves that opportunity. And it was a fun map. Like, for whatever reason, I remember playing that map so much. Like it was a map that we just enjoyed playing, and I do wish it would have an opportunity to return. I don't know if we will ever see it. I think we would have seen it by now if that was the case, but um, it falls right in line with Train, Cash, um, Cobblestone for me of maps that I just want to see re-enter the pool at some point and tweak it as you go. I don't know what the issue is for not bringing these maps back. They don't feel like it's perfect. Well, trust me, whatever you release is going to get
yeah,
shitted
I
on
mean,
anyway. So release it and let's fix as we go and go from there. And I'll give my final thoughts after we finish. Well, I think we only have one map to go here, but
one map to go. That made me think though of older maps like Aztec. That was one that I always enjoyed playing. I think nowadays it would suck from especially a competitive standpoint.
I loved it back then, but it also sucked back then from a
Right.
competitive standpoint.
Like from a competitive standpoint, just thinking about like how open some of the sites were,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
there's just absolutely no
It
way.
couldn't work. They have to redo the whole map.
Yeah.
But yes, Aztec, Prodigy, man, I loved those maps, but they were never considered like serious competitive maps.
No. Also on the Xbox version, there was a map called Miami, which was awesome. But last map here on the tier list, Nuke. Talk about a map that has been through it all. The only actual physical pin. Remember when they used to do pins at the majors? I actually have the Nuke pin. That's the major I got from Columbus.
Yeah.
What's funny is I used to despise this map. I think much like everyone, because it used to be the most one-sided map of all time. Like, if you got, what was it? It was super CT sided at one point, correct? And it was like if you were a T side and got maybe 3 or 4 rounds, you were like, guys, we got this.
Yeah, it was brutal because they had the hangar that they could walk up on the side of the roof, like
Yeah.
all the way
Like
around.
if you were on
and-
T side, seriously, you would get 3 to 4 round wins on your first T side, and you would be pretty damn confident that you just won the map. Like winning 3 rounds the first half would make you feel pretty confident going into the second. That should never be the case. So they've reworked it. I think it is much better.
It's still CT favored. Like it's like a 55-45, which doesn't sound like a lot. But in the scope of how some of the other maps are, like that's a little bit of a bigger discrepancy.
And
but
I
you're
think
right. It feels much more balanced watching it now.
And this is why I think it's still CT favored. And I think this is the one thing that I would still like to see some change, and that's outside. I think outside, if you don't know your smokes, if you don't know your utility, it's a very tough map to pug in. And even from a pro and viewership perspective, it's like if they don't hit their shots or if they don't act on that utility the first time around, like if they were trying to go through the outside as secret or, bust through hell or wherever, or ramp, it can be very difficult without utility. It is a...
Don't rank it. I want to tell you my side of it, and then you tell me if we're in the same line of thinking here.
Because I do like it from what it used to be. It was the worst map in the game and terrible. But they have made... The improvements that they've made, I think, are good. And I'll leave it at that.
I really like Nuke now.
Yeah.
I hated Nuke before. Hated.
I mean, it was the worst. It was the worst map.
I would
in the
never,
game.
Ever queue it. And now, I mean, just in the past few days, I've played it like 3 times, which is a lot considering how many games I've played, right? It's not like I'm playing 20 games in the past 3 days. I probably played like 6, and like 3 of them have been on Nuke. So I really like Nuke. I think from a competitive, like pro scene standpoint, it is fun to watch. There are plenty of executes at their level of play that they can do, whether it's outside, inners, through like mauling through the windows and finding creative spots to land your mollies. If you can break through on ramp and executing onto B, I think retake ability is there. Each site has multiple entrances with different verticality on each of those bomb sites, with the verticality that's in the map, which is already unusual with the stacked bomb sites. To me, we have also seen historic feats done on Nuke by historic teams, right? You think of Astralus's... I'm not even going to say the number because I don't remember, but they had that absurdly long win streak on Nuke. Na'Vi also had like the best teams are really good on Nuke, and that also kind of means something. Like they are very good on these maps, and I don't know what the reason is behind that, but like the best teams for whatever reason are the best on that map. To me, Nuke has elevated itself from what I once would have told you was a D or lower tier map. To me, it's an A tier map now. I think it's
A tier.
Okay, fun. It's fun enough in a casual setting because you can still kind of break through in certain areas. You don't have like multiple people watching one spot because there's a lot of ground to cover on that map, right? You got to have one outside, generally have one in heaven. You're going to have one in lower site A. You're going to have one watching ramp. So you're kind of spread out, right? You have the ability to hit an angle and overwhelm somebody. I think so from a competitive standpoint, it's created iconic runs for us, and it's in everybody's map pool. It's not like an insta-ban for hardly anyone at this point. I think it's a better map than probably Dust 2 is right now, in my personal opinion. So I mean,
it's definitely a better... Yeah, maybe Dust is a B tier. Let's move Dust to B tier. Can we agree on that?
I mean, that's kind of where I initially would have put...
When we're looking here, we have S tier being Inferno. A tier is Nuke, Overpass. B tier is Train, Cache, and Dust 2. And that looks right to me.
Train, Cache, Dust 2, Cobblestone, Tuscan. It's like maps that we're all happy with being in the map pool. But they're not like the best maps that they have right now.
Yeah.
But
And
they're
I'll
all
give you
good
B tier
maps.
for Cobblestone. Cobblestone for me is still C, but maybe we should almost just queue for. Well, you said though this version sucks, so.
Yeah, this version is not that great, but just go do deathmatch in Cobblestone. That's what I did the other day, and I was having so much fun in there. And I was just like, I went to the spots that I wanted to hold as if I was playing CT, and I just kind of like ran there each round and held those angles. And like I loved playing like stairs, up onto that platform. Like that was like
Right.
such a cool spot to play. I really liked it. Or playing around fountain on site. Like I really liked those spots. And so yeah, I mean, I think moving Dust 2 down to B, throwing Nuke into A, which sounds weird to even say that out loud.
It was such a bad map. For people who didn't play the old Nuke, I mean, it was
really bad.
map.
Really bad, really one-sided, not very fun. And look, nobody queued for it. It had like 10-minute queue times at one point in its life, Now you can queue for Nuke and get in like 2.5 minutes, And so, yeah, Nuke has grown on me. And I think they've just done a good job of updating that map. The color palette is way better now than it used to be. Visibility is pretty good on it, and so and the verticality makes it a little bit unique in the way that it is. I think Inferno really is the only S tier map at the moment. I truly believe that it's the only, it gives you a little bit of everything that you want in a map. And look, I think overall this rating is very favorable to Counter-Strike. I mean, we like a majority of the maps. We just don't like a majority of the maps that are in the map pool. Like it's like, go give us some of these other maps that we do like.
Of the maps that are in the map pool, like 3 of them are C tier or below, and it's kind of like.
And Mirage is like a C tier because of also like we're tired of the damn map, right?
Right.
In
Mirage
terms of
is
like,
getting up there. For me, Mirage is almost like Dust 2 for a lot of people, where it's just kind of like, dude, I cannot play this map again. Like it is the same thing every time.
And even harder to execute on than Dust 2, right? Because like both sites require some sort of coordination. And I mean, you've seen, we don't play enough to be playing with really good people. So coordination's not really, a thing.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this list though. I think I wouldn't add anything else to S tier. I like our A tier. I think our B tier is a little heavy, but that's probably like normal, right? Like this is going to be like a bell curve, a little bit of, they have a bunch of maps sitting in the middle. And look, Mirage and Vertigo and Ancient gotta be replaced. They're just so damn boring. Like,
look, you either replace them or fix it by adding in Cash and Train. And
like that, I don't know how much the pros like that, but I don't think it should be their decision to like make. They can have some input.
You have a pick and banning system. That's your input. If I was a developer, that would be what I would tell a pro. If they're like, oh, we don't like this map, then ban it. That's your choice. Yeah. If you don't like the map, ban it. You each get 1 or 2 bans, whatever it is, but it's like, that's it. That's how you choose what you play. Outside of this, it's whatever you guys pick, they pick, and then whatever's else afterwards, right?
And I get it. Like their schedules are at the top tier or like crazy, right? From events every other week, traveling schedules with LAN being back in play. Like it's probably hard to practice. So them thinking 2 more maps in the map pool, oh, wow, that's overwhelming. But like you already have a lot of these maps down. So like there's only a couple new ones you'd have to focus on, which you probably already have an idea of what those maps are like. You just got to formulate your strategy behind them. So yeah, I would love a refresher of the map core or map pool, whether it's adding more maps or just replacing more than one at a time. And like just kind of letting it like ride a little bit, man. It's getting stale. Counter-Strike's got it. Counter-Strike's awesome. It's awesome. But it's like could use a little refresher from time to time. Just because you're on top doesn't mean you need to like stop trying to improve. And I feel like that's where we're at with Counter-Strike. Is to me, it's still the best FPS game out there.
Yeah.
Especially from a professional standpoint, it is still the best FPS game out there.
It's not even. Look,
it's just it's lacking the most compared to anybody else that's on its heels, right?
Right.
Whether that comes to, again, the map pool being the biggest thing, but like no seasons, the ranked play is just a debacle. So like freshening up the map pool, I think would do a lot to like re-energize an active community already. Like it's still good to like try to get better, and I hope they're still doing that.
And I think for the community that's almost like what they would rather see, as opposed to, look, I think there's a few things that the community of Counter-Strike wants, and we don't have to get too bogged down into it because it could be a whole nother topic. We want to see matchmaking reworked with seasons to reset ranks, not necessarily a battle pass, doesn't always have to be a battle pass, but seasons, and maps. That's it. You add those two things, seasons for rank resets. You don't even have to get fancy with battle passes. Like, honestly.
The things that you're asking for, to me, are like basic too.
Yeah.
Like, you're not asking people to create new maps. We're not asking you to change how the game plays or how guns perform. It's literally, we're talking about like some back end changes to adding a season system with rank system, like a new updated rank system in there, and then taking maps you already have and reinserting them into the map pool one way or the other. So it's like, these are not even like really big asks, but they are common asks. And so you just kind of hope at some point before we've moved on completely that we get to experience those changes, right? Because like, as much as we love the game, like, games get dated at some point. CSGO has been around since what, 2013 now? Like, we're kind of getting there.
Got to do something.
Got to do something just to freshen it up and maybe energize an audience that's tired of Valorant. If they are, there might be some out there that are interested in Counter-Strike, but the rank system sucks. Everybody complains about MM. Everybody knows all the maps. I'm behind in that, at least with
the crazy thing is, and I don't want to start anything, it's not even, after playing them again and watching them again and getting into the swing of it, it's not even close when it comes to between Counter-Strike and Valorant for me. Not even close.
Yeah.
Like, Counter-Strike is, to me, still far beyond the best pure esports competitive game you could play.
Because it doesn't feel gimmicky in any way.
There is no one's bitching about balance issues and, we got to do a balance patch. And when was the last time we saw a balance patch in Counter-Strike?
The biggest balance patch thing is whether the M4 should have those 5 extra bullets right now or not.
That's right.
That's the biggest issue at the moment. And that's like pretty good if that's like your main issue. And so, yeah, the game, you said it head on. Like, since we've started playing again, which happens annually at some point, we're kind of in that mode right now. I haven't had the itch to go play Valorant, unfortunately. And part of it becomes the hero factor, right?
It's a class. Look, at the end of the day, it's a class-based shooter. Is it like a class-based shooter like Overwatch? No, but it's a class-based shooter to where you queue in, and if you have, what a good comp and a bad comp is. And if you look at your guys and you go, this is a shit comp, boys, you are significantly at a disadvantage going in.
Yeah. No, 100%. And then if you also haven't kept up with the game in a few months and there's 3 new characters and they're now part of the meta, it's not like Counter-Strike where you come back and you know what you're getting each time. That's just not how it works in that game. And look, Valorant's a great game. I don't want to sit here and bash Valorant.
Of course, I'm not like I said, I'm not trying to start anything. It's still an awesome game to watch, but for what limited time I have to invest, it's going to CS.
For sure.
That's all I got to say. All right, so there it is, your official tier list. I'll tweet it out here probably tomorrow. Let some people listen before we spoil the big news. But there it is. All right. Let's get into a quick e-news. Obviously, doing a show on Thursday, there's not a ton to get to for e-news. But in CSGO, Evil Geniuses announced their 15-man roster. We'll see how that works.
We will. They're getting bashed a lot for it, but like I just see it as an extended Academy roster.
That's all it is. I don't know why
Like,
people are acting like it's like a 15
I saw
starting
who
man
was
roster.
it? Dust was like so negative towards the roster move, saying, "Well, they can't even figure out their first 5. How are they supposed to figure out 15?" And I was like, I think they're just like trying to build a younger core and see if they can either sell them off, or for them it's a great opportunity to say you're on a big org. And
Well, I think that's what you now have 15 guys, 3 teams worth to mix and mingle during practice, film sessions, whatever. We've always talked about how the NA scene is dead. This is the only time that I've seen an org, say what you want, EG is all in on NACS.
Yep.
So I'm not going to shit on them for that. They're the only ones keeping it alive at this point, as far as I'm concerned, and of course Cloud9. But
look, this might backfire, but we got to give it a minute to
and you know
let
what?
them
There's
figure it out.
a very good chance it does backfire. This could just be a long roundabout way from figuring out who their starting 5 is.
Like, this would be better if they had a distinct starting 5 who we knew were going to represent EG in whatever main event they're going to. I think right now there's just question marks, so this adds more questions.
Right.
But overall, I like the idea of what they're trying to do.
I do too.
I'm not gonna bash them for it.
I think for scrimming and everything, if they're doing this to keep it all in house, like, hey, why scrim against these other teams that we don't like? Let's scrim with each other, and it's not uncommon, right? We see it in traditional sports where teams have entire practice squads for this exact reason. So, I mean, do we see it work in esports? No. Will this probably work? Probably not. But it's worth a shot. In Valorant news, G2 to disband their Valorant roster. I don't think permanently. I think this is
not like there's rumors that they were trying to buy Gambit's roster. This is G2 is tired of this roster and they are looking for another roster. If you don't think they would have a roster, you're out of your damn mind. They're compete in League of Legends.
Franchise.
They are going to be applying for a slot. They will have a team.
Yeah, definitely going to be getting a team. Crazy how these 2 orgs, though, at the start of Valorant were dominant. Number 1 and 2 in the world. And where they're at now, Sentinels failed to qualify for this stage of NA Masters. Failed to qualify, failed to win in groups. They went 0-5, losing to Cloud9 in their last match. Cloud9 also, though, I guess take your small victories while you can, because while they beat Sentinels, they were still also eliminated, going 2-3 in Group B.
I think all of these teams are in the last chance qualifiers of some sort, right?
Oh yeah, they're done.
Oh, they're done. Okay.
Like, I think Sentinels, they tweeted out saying that they're done for this part of VCT.
And then you had TSM and the Guard also get eliminated from the other group side, which look at the team names that are on the bottom of this list. Like, these are all, like, the Guard was playing in the Masters, not too long ago. Sentinels was same sort of ordeal, and this is the chaos that can be created by a new game that's also hero based, right? Like, new agents get added, they nerf Jet's dash, that kind of messes up how she's used. I think this is like kind of right on par, that it's going to be confusing right now, and eventually it'll be more established, especially when pick bans come into play. But
right,
for now, it's also going to be chaotic, and I think that's okay. That should be expected.
So there is a chance, there is still a last chance qualifier. Sentinels is, so you get 8 teams that go to that, right? Or 6 teams that go to it. Sentinels is the 6th team at the moment. So
yeah, they still need, like, I saw a list of things that need to happen for it to stay that way. It still seems unlikely.
And Ghost, see, okay, so that must be why they tweeted that they're done, because Ghost is the next team after them, and Ghost qualified for the playoffs here. So basically any circuit points that they get are going to bump Sentinels down out of contention for last chance. So Sentinels went from
Can we stop
from
the
first
dynasty
to
talk?
last.
Because there was no dynasty.
No, look, I think you and I were the only ones who said that on this show, like while people were trying to tout Sentinels, and look, we're NA fanboys first and foremost, but we're also the only ones who were like, we need to pump the brakes on this dynasty thing. We're
Like we
geniuses.
said, them winning the first VCT tournament was cool, but that doesn't make you a dynasty because you had a little bit of a good
Look,
run
man,
on
these-
online play during COVID. Like that's not how that works.
We only have a handful of shows left, right? For those listening, 400 is our last weekly show. People in esports are dumb. And they love to create stories out of absolutely nothing. And this Sentinels roster at the start was just that, talking about dynasties. And yes, they were the best team in the world at one point in time, but that doesn't make you a dynasty. It just makes you the best team in the world at that moment. Now, they are playing with their coach, so I think he was still a stand-in for some parts of this, so it is what it is. But still,
But there was still like way too much NA dick riding going on with
Of
Sentinels
course.
when they
Oh,
were
I
like
mean, look at
winning. And it was
Tens.
like, okay,
I've
everybody
said
just
it-
like
I've
chill
said
a
it
little
from
bit
day
here.
one. We've seen this with Tens, man. The guy he is a mental midget. And when
Also, the
start,
only one that's like still carrying on that team for the most part. They still rely too heavily on him to
Yes.
have to do it every round. And if that's who you're relying on, then your point is super valid because that's the one person you probably don't want to put all your hopes in. You want him to be a good piece to the puzzle, but
Yeah.
he shouldn't be the biggest piece ever. Like, I mean, there should be other pieces that work. I think Sick is a great player, so him being out for Ruckus really did hurt them in this event. I do not think they would have been 0-5, but like, it's not like Ruckus is like bringing in Peacemaker and Counter-Strike to play. Like, Ruckus was just
former
on a
pro,
team
yeah.
competing. When we say former pro, he quit in the last 6 months, and it's only because he didn't find another team to go to. So he's very much still in tune with like
Yeah.
playing the game competitively. So they still should have been better than 0-5 with them. I don't give them a pass for that. Yes, I did not expect them to go 5-0, but 0-5, like, come on. So they are
Rough.
falling a little bit back down to earth. I think you will probably see some changes now, unless they want to just see what happens when Sick comes back and give it another run.
You
But
have to make changes.
yeah,
Have
you'll
to.
see some changes.
Also, rumor that there's a new map coming out later this week for Valorant, so keep an eye
It's
on
supposed
that.
to be Friday, so I guess we'll see. But yeah, it was play tested, it sounds like, by some of the pros and pro affiliates and whatnot. So
There's that.
rumors are this Friday we'll see a new map.
And 2 big game releases have been announced, sort of. Diablo 4 coming 2023. Okay. Thanks for the information, Blizz. Sometime next year, this game that's been, I think everyone, were you expecting this year? Holiday?
Well, if you'd asked me last year, was I expecting this year, I would have told you yes. But now that we're in June, I would tell you no.
So Immortal to PC was clearly just a holdover.
Time
Like,
buying.
guys,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
gotta
Like,
give us another year.
here's something for you. But yeah, I mean, if it wasn't coming out next year, when were they going to release the damn thing? Like, they announced it 5 years ago at this point. It'd be 5 years from the time that it was announced to the time that it actually came out. That's a long ass time. So I thought the worst thing was going to be the trailer cutting off at BlizzCon. Who knew we were going to have 3 years worth of delays after that? So, I mean, look, I'm excited. The announcements are at least there and something you can kind of hold them by. We know Overwatch is not going to be delayed. I say we know, but I'm pretty confident there will not be a delay.
On that note, Overwatch 2 has been announced October 4th as the release, which that's a longer release date than I thought, to be honest, so I'm not expecting delays. Like, that I feel like was a pretty safe release date for them.
Yeah, you know, and for me, the hype level is like low on Overwatch 2, and it's medium now for like Diablo, because I'm just in such a wait and see with anything Blizzard is doing nowadays that And it's also we've been waiting a long time to see it. So Diablo, look, hopefully we get it somewhat early next year, but unless we start getting a lot of information soon, it seems like it's going to be like
later.
They're going to say bring hell to Christmas, Diablo coming Christmas 2023. Like I wouldn't be surprised for something like that either.
Well, and that's just kind of that's how games go, right? You either get in the first quarter or the last. Like very few will big games be released in June. It's just how it works. So we'll have to wait and see. And also from Wolf in chat, his weekly mobile esports news. Number 1, League of Legends Wild Rift's $2 million USD tournament is starting tomorrow, Anuj. So get on that one.
That's actually kind of crazy. That's a big one.
I think they also said Wild Rift is having for the Game Pass is also having their agents free for Wild Rift as well.
Yeah, I think it's all of them.
So
all their
nuts. So even if you're a mobile gamer, Game Pass is still paying for itself right there. And the second bit of mobile news is a British content creator is now the co-owner of NA's biggest mobile content org, the famously Culture Appropriation Tribe Gaming.
There you go.
So there you go.
It doesn't mean anything to me. Is that okay?
Oh yeah. No, absolutely. This is for all the mobile gamers out there. They're gamers too, Anuj. They're
was that from Wolf that just told you that? Or
yeah.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear. Okay, so Wolf, it does matter to me a little bit. Sorry, I thought Tim was just telling me a random fact about mobile gaming.
I would not. No.
Wolf yes.
is my
Wolf
random
told it to
fact.
us. Okay, well, that's not bad.
I don't know anything about mobile gaming, so everything there. Except for I have been a mobile gamer this week playing Diablo Immortal.
You bought the finger condoms, didn't you?
I did not. Not yet.
But you're not that far away, I don't feel.
Maybe.
What level are you?
29. So nothing
okay.
like Kamar.
Okay.
Our buddy Kamar is like max level probably, and
he's like already 50, and he's been playing Destiny with me a lot. I don't know how he's doing it.
Probably put in 50,000 of the 100,000 that you need, so to get max. So
he just bought Blizzard.
I mean, he is one of those people that would do that. So he does not bat an eye to spend some cash to catch up, that's for sure. But hey, the older I get, the less I care about pay to win. Is that normal? Are you the same way?
Because I'm always looking at how to save time now.
Right. Like time is more valuable. So if you told me, hey, pay us $60 and you could get a max level character with some gear, I'd be like, okay, here you go.
Where do I sign?
All right.
Yeah.
That's just how it works. All right. Well, there you have it. There's some e-news for you. Thank you everyone for so much listening. A big episode, long episode for not really having a lot to talk about. But you know what?
We thought it'd be short. That's why we added the other thing.
We're just professionals, Anuj. That's how we do it. That's what happens when you're the #1 esports podcast. The Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, presented by Philly Esports. That's episode 387. It's done. It's in the books. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. Join our Discord. Be a part of the discussion there. As always, we will be back next week. Maybe Monday night, maybe Tuesday night. Monday is my birthday. So either I have gotten the pass to play video games, or I've gotten well, you don't want to hang out with me on your birthday? And then I won't be home. That's how you know what decision was made. So we'll see. If not, probably Tuesday, Wednesday. We'll figure it out. You know how we do. But you'll only know on Twitter and Discord. So until then, for Anuj, I'm Tim. Love your face. We'll see ya. Bye. Perfect.
Why can't I find Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Game Pass?
I couldn't find it either.
Typed in Shredder's Revenge. TMNT.
Hello? Hello? Is it a day one release?
I thought so. I thought that's what I saw.
Teenage Mutant Turtles. All 4 Xbox Game Passes featured. Yeah, right there.
For it to be coming out in like 3 days, I thought I would see it somewhere pretty easily.
June 16th. It's a 6-player co-op. Man, that'd be a fun one to have like everyone on to.
Kind of just maybe ask who's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan. I feel like most people would get it on nostalgia. Problem is, like, I haven't been able to convince all of our buddies to get Game Pass yet. I tried to tell Ronnie and Kamara, I was like, it's the best deal in gaming.
How do they
Just
not
fucking
have
do
it yet? I was literally about to say, well, it's on Game Pass, so they have no excuse. But
Yeah, but they don't have Game Pass, so. Let me go check what Kelly's doing. I'll probably be back on in 10 minutes here.
all right, I'll do the same. I'll let you know. All right, everyone, chat. Love your face. We'll see you. Bye.
That was a long episode.
I know it's 11:15, so
Yeah.
we'll see what's going on.
She's probably already asleep, but if she